Have you already ridden the New Mexico, Colorado, or Wyoming BDRs? Love riding through the Rockies but don't want to repeat it? Let's take a look at the Continental Divide Trail and see if this would be another good reason to get back out in the Rockies and ride. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. I'm currently on section 7 of the Continental Divide Trail. And the reason for that is I have already ridden section 8 of the New Mexico BDR a number of times, and I thought I would try something new. Now, I think information on the Continental Divide Trail is not readily available like it is on the BDRs. There's videos and information everywhere on BDRs, but the Continental Divide Trail, not exactly the same. And there's a couple different routes. So I chose the free route, and that's what I'm doing today. So this is the northern part of New Mexico, starting in El Rito. And the reason I did this is it's gonna take me right where I wanna go, where I can camp by a lake and do some fishing. And it's also an opportunity to do some new riding, try some new areas and ride roads I haven't ridden before, and there's some crossover too. So it is important to know that the Continental Divide Trail and the BDRs, there are some crossovers. It's almost impossible not to have crossovers going through this area. So really, if you're just looking for an alternative, you want to get back to New Mexico, Colorado, or Wyoming and continue doing some riding in those areas, but don't want to do a BDR again, this might be a great alternative. Now, I will mention one thing is I did not do a lot of research to see how big bike friendly the Continental Divide Trail is on a motorcycle. So we're gonna find out. So far, it's just been a forest road, but I really don't know as I go along if things are gonna change or if it's gonna get more challenging. I know a lot of riders that ride the Continental Divide Trail are usually doing it on dual sports or smaller bikes. So we're gonna try it on the Taureg, and as I do different sections, I'll mix in the KTM just because I have it and I enjoy riding it. But it'll be on the larger side, the heavier side. So we'll see what it is like. And I will eventually just do section by section. So I'm gonna stop talking, I'm gonna start riding, and I will let you know what it looks like as we go along as an alternative to riding a BDR. I'm at Lagonita Campground. There's a pond over here that, from what I read, was stocked last year. Maybe they've even done some stocking this year. I've already seen some trout in it just looking from the shore. So that's super awesome because I get to do some fishing. But I think this is a great little campground. It's a little busier than I was hoping for, but it is a weekend. If I had been here on a weekday, if I'd had the time, there'd be nobody here. That'd be really amazing. And have the lake to myself to fish and stuff. But anyway, the Continental Divide Trail is basically equivalent to riding the New Mexico BDR, that type of forest roads, section 8. I would say the overlap is probably 50% overlap between the two trails. Now, where this splits and completely diverges is the New Mexico BDR heads over to Los Pinos River, and where this goes to the campground here or past Lagunitas and loops around up to, I think it's Highway 17. So a bit of a divergence. It's perfect for me where I want to be. I've enjoyed riding it today, even with the overlap, and it turns out I didn't realize it, but I had ridden a lot of this section in the past when I've been up here exploring northern New Mexico. So no surprises. I really think at least what I've ridden today would be big bike friendly. If you're riding a 550, 600 pound bike, if you have proper tires and you feel comfortable with the BDR, New Mexico BDR, you'll be fine on this. But that's just for section 7. I don't know what the rest of it's gonna be. And I'm hoping to ride more and more sections just to get some variety and do some different things. So I'm gonna camp here tonight and continue on and finish this section up tomorrow morning. I am essentially at the end of the dirt road for section 7 of the Continental Divide Trail. I don't know, a couple miles up the road, you hit pavement until you start on section 8. So I'm not doing section 8 today. I have other plans, but I do want to mention from Lagunitas, the lake there that I stayed at last night. The road going out, I could tell it was not very well traveled, and it was way more challenging than anything going up to that point. And there is a descent that is just big boulders that are 12 inches in size, just embedded and loose. I think the Jeeps and the UTVs have really torn that up. So if you're on a big bike, a heavy bike, that section, depending on what your skill level is, it's going to be challenging. And there was a couple spots that it just dropped into these, they had these drop-offs, and on the backside of these drop-offs for really, really big rocks. And ooh, that is a big hole. Big rocks in that hole. At one point, I basically came to a stop and just tried to roll through it, and even just slowly rolling through it, I nearly dropped the bike because it was steep and trying to avoid the big rocks. If you're riding down that, it seems to me like that'd be pretty risky, because if you come off of one of those lips and hit one of those rocks, I'm not sure that the bike is going to stay upright, and it'd be a long, challenging fall. So with that being said, other than that section, there were a couple of little ascents that were a little bit loose and rutted, and there's some big mud holes, but there's some routes around them. Overall, I enjoyed it. There was a few little challenges there, which were good. It kind of kept it exciting. And I certainly think if you're looking for an alternative, to the New Mexico BDR, you've already ridden it, maybe you've ridden it multiple times in both directions, the Continental Divide Trail is certainly a great thing to try out. And the last section of the Continental Divide Trail of 7 is much more challenging than the New Mexico BDR. So if you're looking for more challenge, then that would be the way to go. And because they do overlap, there's just that split when you get up to the top of the Cruces Basin. It's always fun to ride. It's always good to try something different, and I think it is worthwhile doing. So just as an alternative to what you normally do. Anyway, if you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Remember, you can always make more money, but you cannot make more time. So get out and do that ride on your bike. Start cranking the miles out on your bike and using it, since that's what you got it for. Get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there. And then the top